Hello, my wonderful Cliniko family. Rachel here, and as always, I come with news, updates, changes, and more in Cliniko this week. These past few days have been filled with some amazing new features like the full patient file export. We've also renamed some things like attachments and certain delete buttons. And finally, we've added a new section in settings for patient privacy. Let's jump right in. To begin, let's focus on the new export feature for a patient. If you head into a patient's file and scroll down to the very bottom, if you have the appropriate security role, you can now create a full export. Just select Generate Export and that will begin the process. Once the export has finished generating, you can head over to their files. Now, you may have noticed that attachments no longer appears in the menu for a patient's file. All of your attachments are still there, but they are now under files in the menu instead of attachments. Here, you'll see previously attached files and any generated patient exports. The export will be a zip file. A zip file is essentially a digital suitcase. It can contain and hold a large number of files without having to take up too much space. Opening up that suitcase or zip file will essentially unpack everything inside. This export is great for any patient who is requesting a copy of all their data, and I mean all of their data. Opening any of the files in the export will give the patient an interface that allows them to interact with their data as well, including contact details, appointments, communications, files, invoices, letters, payments, recalls, and treatment notes. In regards to our next change, if you've been searching for the delete button on things like treatment notes, appointments, payments, unavailable blocks, etc., and haven't been able to locate it, you're not crazy. The delete button on certain items has been renamed / transformed / evolved into archive. The archive button actually does the same exact thing as delete did previously. So the information that is archived is removed from your account and does not affect your reports. So if you archive an invoice, it will not appear in your financial reports. So why the name change? Well, there are still delete options in Cliniko, but what happens to that data is where the name change comes in. Delete means that that item cannot be restored or viewed in your data exports. It's permanently deleted. However, anything that is archived can be viewed in your data exports if you include archived records. This is great if someone accidentally archives something, but you'd like to track it down and see the original information. Since we're discussing deletion, let's go into our next update. When you delete a patient, the majority of their data, like treatment notes and communications, are permanently removed. Since appointments, invoices, and payments affect your reporting though, those will remain and will still display the name of the deleted patient. Their file though will no longer be accessible. If you prefer to have the names anonymized, there is a new setting that will allow this. Head to Settings, and under the Patients or Client section, you'll now see Patient Privacy. Here, you'll see that we moved the option to change your external calendar privacy, as well as the new options to anonymize appointments, as well as invoices and payments. If enabled, instead of showing the name of the person removed, it will show deleted patient or deleted client instead. Just note, if you turn on this option, those anonymized items cannot be reversed later. Speaking of later, that is it for Cliniko this week. I will, of course, be back next week, but until then, let me know what you think of these changes and if you want me to dive deeper into any of them in another video. Here's a virtual hug, and thank you as always for watching. Bye now!